So, I kind of debated about making this video simply because this is something I am completely over. It's not really affecting me so much in the way that, like, I can't talk about it. I mean, it does still affect me in certain ways, but that's besides the point. But then I'm like, you know what? If anything, maybe if I make this video and upload it, it can help someone who is in a situation similar to mine, depending how far in they are, or maybe they're about to be in one, and I can stop them and save them. So I have kind of just general bullet point notes written down. Woo! So hopefully I cover everything. It's probably going to be a kind of long video. So how this all started was I was 18, hadn't really had any success in dating in high school. I had asked guys out and let them know that I was interested, but they all were not interested in me in that way. It's not to say there was anything wrong with me or that they were mean or jerks, because, and the way they would reject me was never a mean way. We were friends and they just saw me as a friend. Nothing wrong with that. Like, honestly, throughout even the rest of high school, I'm still friends with one of them on Facebook, though I don't really talk to him, but you know, we would still, even after that, we'd still be friends, still have fun, still have good memories. It was all good. Like, it was honestly very mature ways of handling it, and it was all good. But with prefacing that, I hadn't really had any experience in relationships and whatnot. So, and my parents said this was okay, because I was 18, I was an adult, they were letting me, you know, do what I wanted. So, and they had actually met through something kind of similar, but of course when they did it, it was through like phone. I joined, I think it was Christian Mingle. Yeah, Christian Mingle. Because I figured, why not? You know, it wasn't that I was necessarily super desperate. I mean, of course, kind of did want a boyfriend, you know. Everybody wants that in their life, and it was something I never really had. And since I wasn't really having luck with meeting guys real life in person, I was like, you know what, let's just give this a shot, because I was only going to try it for a few months anyway, because it was on, you know, 3 months or cheap or whatever. So I was like, I'll just try it for this time, see where things lead. And I did end up, no, this guy messaged me first, and the guy who messaged me was my ex-husband. So we were talking online, and we didn't tell, my parents knew, but that was it. We didn't tell any, like, friends. He didn't really tell his family. I didn't tell any coworkers at my job. We didn't really tell anybody, because we're like, hey, this is new. We don't want to say something, and then, you know, if it ends up falling apart, then we have to tell everyone, oh no, it was nothing. But the thing was, it was like either 3 weeks or a month after us talking, he ended up not even actually proposing in a normal way. He simply asked me, what would you say if I asked you to marry me? Keep in mind, we had never met in person. He was in the army at the time, stationed in Germany. We had never met in person. My stupid self was thinking, you know, this could be like, you know, those young adult fiction books I read, or like even, you know, the movies or the TV shows where everything just ends out perfect in the most ridiculous circumstance. So I said yes. And also with it, because of course I like thought about it and asked, I don't know if I was the only person who was dumb and thought this was a thing, but I was expecting when you think of a red flag, it would literally be like, all right, is there anything wrong with this person? And some magical thing would instantly go off in your head and be like, yes, this seems wrong with this person. Don't be with this person. Don't marry them. Of course, that's not how it works. Of course, nothing went off in my head. So I thought there was nothing wrong. And I thought he truly loved me and cared about me. Well, you know, we get married. Everything seems okay, except for when he was on his vacations, of course he spent a lot of time with me. Well, when I finally moved to Germany, yes, at first, we did spend a lot of time together. As time progressed, it then started to be, he would come home and play on his computer, and that would be it. The only time he would get off is if he wanted to have sex. We'd have sex, and then he would jump right back onto his computer. Like, no talking, no anything, put his pants back on, went straight back on the computer to play games. Now, as a gamer, if you can tell by my Umbreon shirt, of course, I love playing video games. You know, there is nothing wrong with having hobbies, and it's not like you have to spend every millisecond of every day together doing things together. That's impossible because you both have work anyway, but didn't exactly leave a good feeling when, you know, someone would have sex with you and then they immediately up and leave. Especially when it's someone who you're married to. This is supposed to be someone you want to spend time with, not, you know, a booty call or whatever. But at that time, you know, I was being used in that way. So, fast forward, you know, we get to America because he got separated from the military. It was medical discharge. It wasn't a dishonorable discharge or anything. It's not like he did anything like that. It was all fine. But, you know, we get home, we're back to America. Things still seem to be okay. But there is also the issue of, with all his playing video games, he would get extremely bad rage. He had broken a desk. He had broken like 3 or 4 keyboards. And he would sit there screaming in rage. And it was something that made me feel very scared and uncomfortable. Like, he never hit me or anything, but nobody wants to sit there in the living room as they're in the corner and like I'm here, and they are screaming and raging at these games. And when you are getting that mad, usually, okay, you finish the match on your online game, you stop playing the game for a bit to calm down. If I'm playing one of my games and, like even with Fire Emblem that just happened, I kept losing and having to restart. So, you know, I'm just like, you know what, okay, I'm putting the game down, I'm getting mad, I'm just screwing up, let me just walk away. He wouldn't do that. He would have to play until he won a game. And of course, when you're getting mad and frustrated, this is with anything in life, you start making more mistakes. You start messing up more on little tiny things. So of course he was messing up even more, and so he would keep losing. And then keep getting yelled at by other team players because he was making mistakes and whatnot when they maybe weren't. And it would just make him angry because he had a problem with, he did not like losing, did not like any kind of failure. So to him that was unacceptable. And that should have been a huge red flag for me to get out and leave. Those kind of anger issues, like I said, it's one thing I get mad at video games. It's one thing to get mad and frustrated with things. But to take it out in that level that he did, he literally broke a desk. To take it to that extent, that is extreme. You need help with that. That is taking it way too far. And this was a problem he had apparently had all through childhood, even, you know, as a teenager or whatever. There would be times his dad would shut off the internet so he couldn't play Dota or whatever because he was getting so angry. So fast forward, we're into America. We initially went, you know, to Oregon to stay with families because we were trying to figure things out. So we moved to Colorado and we met these other couple at a church, and they're really good friends. I still kind of talk to them, but I live in Kansas now, so it's hard to talk and see them, you know, with them being in Colorado. And I started to notice that he wouldn't want to go out and do things with me anymore unless our friends were there. And I get it, because there would even be times, you know, I wouldn't ask it all the time, be like, hey, you want to go grocery shopping with me? Because that's something you kind of do as a couple. You know, maybe not every single time, but it's nice to just have company for those kinds of things. And he would always say no. He would, again, because now we had a 2-bedroom apartment, he would be in his office spare bedroom, and he would just want to stay in there. He wouldn't want to go anywhere or do anything unless it was brought up that they were there. And then if I couldn't go for some reason, oh, it was fine. They were going, so he was still going to go. And of course, you know, I don't want to control him, would want him, hey Skier, to spend time with friends and stuff, even if I'm not there. But when it was that consistent pattern, and at this point even, there was also problems rising of people would say things, you know, as a small critique or something, because he did this gross thing where he was deciding to never shower. And it was a really gross thing. And he claimed he's found these scientific studies showing, you know, like, oh, not washing your hair and everything is actually healthier for you, not taking a shower. I mean, you can shower too much, but you definitely need to shower. You get BO, your hair gets gross. I hated touching his hair, it was gross. And people would try to say something, and he would immediately jump to, oh, one sec. Oh. Sorry, my roommate's dog wants cuddles. He would immediately jump to then saying, you know, if anyone had any kind of criticism, like, oh, maybe you should shower, oh, you know, maybe you should calm down or stop, you know, playing the games that are enraging you, he would immediately jump to, well, if everyone hates me, if I'm so imperfect, maybe I should just go kill myself. And he would literally say that. Maybe I should just go kill myself. Not you, Skeeter. No, you never do that. But he would immediately jump to that, and, you know, of course then I would always be the one who would then have to pick up, and if it was something I said, I would be stuck always apologizing and saying, no, don't kill yourself, you're worth it than that. He never apologized for anything. And other people, they come here, were able to see, other people were able to see through that. And they wouldn't apologize because they had nothing to apologize for. But I would always apologize. I would apologize for other people. I would apologize for me. I was always apologizing. I was always in the wrong. No matter what. And honestly, using that basically kind of threat of saying, maybe I should just kill myself then, that is a horrible, horrible thing to put on someone. Because you know what happens? That person then freaks out and thinks you might actually do it, and then they feel responsible for trying to pull you out, when it is not the other person's responsibility to, if you are having that, to pull them out. You know whose responsibility it is? Now listen fully before I say this, it's yours. And I'm saying in that, if you ever do actually have suicidal thoughts, take it into your own hands and talk to a professional. Call the suicide hotline where it's an anonymous person, you know, talk to someone. It doesn't have to be someone you're close to, it doesn't even have to be a therapist right away, but talk to someone. Talk to someone who can actually help you. Don't sit there and say, maybe because you did or said this, or you don't like something about me, I should just go kill myself. Don't put that on someone else. Because it was then me scrambling, trying to figure out anything to say to make him see value in himself again, so he wouldn't go into those dark thoughts. And that's not right at all to do to someone. And the thing is, with him taking criticism, he would sit there, you know, you can't say anything about his appearance or behavior or anything, but for him, he would love to say, oh, you know, you should get rid of your acne, it's really not attractive. Oh, you look like you gained some weight, you should probably start eating less and, you know, working out. And then, you know, when I was doing that, if I were to have fast food, well, you just had fast food, so, you know, you're messing up on that. You should probably be careful for the rest of the week or whatever, or be like super strict, and not even in the healthy way of trying to help me. And I was a little overweight. Honestly, nothing super horrible though. Not like I was 400 pounds and he was trying to talk me down. No, I was a little bit overweight. Like, probably should have, you know, trimmed up a little bit. Nothing serious, nothing life-threatening, but he acted kind of like it was and would judge everything. And he'd sit there, you know, if I had my feet up, he'd be like, yeah, you really look like you have cankles. When, like, I don't know how to show you, but you can see my ankle bone poking out. It's not that I'm super skinny, but, like, you can clearly see my ankle bone. If you can see that little bump of bone on your ankle, clearly you don't have cankles. And even if I did, the way he would say it to make me feel ugly and unworthy for having that, and like he wasn't attracted to me anymore, that wasn't the right way to go about it. That's not how you get someone to be healthy. and he would judge me on all that kind of stuff. And being a person who I already have rather low self-esteem, that's affected me to this day. Like, if I see the scale, if I look a little bloated or I see it's gone up a little, I literally start freaking out and I start hating myself because I have the low self-esteem. It's something I'm working on. I'm getting better at loving myself and everything, but having that constantly put on you, it wears you down. It does not help. And so, you know, we were going through all that. Fast forward, moved to Kansas. And in Kansas, that's where things really started to go downhill. And this was all in the winter of 2018. And by that, I mean like the beginning, like January, February is when things really started to fall. I am not a person who I get super jealous and like I feel like I have to read all your messages or look through your phone or anything like that. But I would notice he would stay up late talking to people, and sometimes I would hear it and it was a girl. Just him and a girl. And he would be playing Dota, but she wouldn't be playing the game. This is just some random female who, because he told me, you know, would tell me all his friends who were female, and it wasn't any of them. So I, you know, would ask, and he's like, oh, it's just a friend or whatever. And the thing was, he would tell me, because he had this app, I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but it's called Whisper, where you can post completely anonymous things. And he had that. And he would be talking to people, and I found out he was meeting a bunch of girls on it and talking to them. And he would talk to them all throughout the night and like shut his door so I couldn't hear the conversations. That starts to put a little mistrust. So I did what I'm not proud of, and went on his computer, looked at the messages, and he was talking to a few girls, and one of them, it was very sexual stuff. Like, I guess she had sent him some pictures, completely nude pictures, and another girl, he was teaching her how to masturbate. And, you know, saying he wished he could hear her and see her as he was teaching her how to masturbate. And that is not okay, to be receiving naked pictures from one girl and telling another girl how to masturbate. And I was not okay with it. And I confronted him about it, and he said it wasn't a big deal. He was just talking to them. He can do what he wants. He was just teaching her how to masturbate. It's not like he was doing anything. Yeah, telling a girl how to masturbate, that's sexting. That is cheating on someone. And then next thing I know, he's telling me he wants to become a massage therapist out of nowhere. So he bought some stuff, and he went and met a girl on Whisper, and it was very late at night. He, you know, said it was because he had the daytime job, and I guess she worked as a server at a restaurant. So he met her late at night, and there was one time we were hanging out with a friend, and he got very drunk for, you know, one of the first times ever. And so I was able to actually confront him, because he was saying, yeah, well, she took her top off and I massaged her back. And that made me extremely uncomfortable, because it was done in like her apartment, not in a professional manner at all. And this whole wanting to be a massage therapist came out of nowhere. So I finally got him to admit that yes, he did, you know, massage this girl topless, and he touched her front, massaged her front, like all of it, boobs and all. He touched everything, and they even made out. And to him, you know what he said? He said that wasn't cheating, because he didn't put his penis in her. That wasn't cheating. Him touching her torso naked and making out with her, that's not cheating. Only because actual intercourse didn't happen. Which is complete and utter bullshit. That is cheating, 1000%. And for him, he sat there and said, well, you know what, everyone has different definitions of cheating, and we never sat down and talked about it. If you ask the majority of people out there, that is cheating. Of course, there are some people who, they live that different life, you know, they live the polyamorous life or whatever, and that's what they do, and that kind of thing isn't cheating. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as everyone is in agreement and no one's getting hurt, I don't care. But for most people, married people, even just dating people who are exclusive, you know, they've said it, that thing is cheating. It doesn't matter if intercourse happened or not. You made out, both of you topless, touching each other with another girl. And I was supposed to just sit there and take it. And me being dumb, he then turned it with my being upset. Of course, he turned it around again to I should kill myself. And that he should kill himself. Not I should kill myself, he was saying he should kill himself. And of course I argued that no, he shouldn't. And I was sitting there trying to defend him and blaming the other woman, which of course she wasn't right. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he didn't tell her that he was married and he took his ring off. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. But, so, you know, I forgave him. Because at this point, we had been married, you know, almost 4 years. And I wasn't realizing that whole time. But I was being manipulated and gaslighted that whole time. And the manipulation with the trying to control me, saying, you know, certain ways I was doing was wrong. He never counted my income for bills. So he made me financially dependent on him. Everything was in his name. Phone bill, my car. I'm sitting here now. I have a car that is in my name, and I'm sitting here waiting, expecting that, oh no, this is really someone else's car. It's going to get taken away from me because I owned nothing. None of it was in my name. He made me financially dependent on him. I couldn't just go on my own because I was financially dependent on him. Which maybe it's partly my fault for letting that happen, but you know, the way he was talking of like, I will take care of you, just let me, you know, and I fell for it. And so even after that cheating, I forgave him and said, I'll give you another chance because, you know, I was manipulated into thinking I loved him, he loved me, and then turn around and he starts saying he wants to explore very different things, like, not saying if there's anything wrong, if you are a lesbian, gay woman, you know, I don't care, you do you. I am not interested in that at all. I am 100% straight, not bi, I'm not lesbian, but he was wanting me to experiment with girls in that way while he watched, and that was something I was not comfortable with, but he would keep pushing me and pressuring me to try and do it. And then he was starting to talk about how, you know, he wanted me and him have sex in the same bed as another couple having sex. And that was extremely uncomfortable to me. That was something I was not willing to do. And I feel like the vast majority of people even don't really want to do that. And I said no, and he would again be pestering me to try and get me to agree to it. Then next thing I know, he says, we are going to the house of 2 people who are in a nudist colony. And we're going to go there, and they're going to be fully naked, and we're going to be fully naked. These people we had never met. I don't even know if he knew their real names, because he met them on Kick or something. And I said, okay, maybe I eventually agreed to going, but I was like, I'm going to be fully clothed. And he was like, no, you're going to be naked in front of them, because that's how they do things. And I said, well, you know, I would be respectful, and even then it was like, I wouldn't care if they were, or even if you were, but I said I would be clothed. And that should be respected in a sense too, because it's not like I was making them being clothed, but the whole thing was, I never wanted to do it. We didn't end up going. And then it started, he wanted to go on actual dates with other women. Like go out, go to dinner with them, take them to a movie. And he insisted that he was going to kiss them if he wanted to, and that was okay. He was going to kiss them, he would cuddle them. The only form of cheating would be if they had actual intercourse. Everything else was open. Everything else was fair game, which is not my definition of cheating at all. I mean, even the talking with these women on such, you know, these deep emotional levels, like he was even, it's called like emotional cheating, where he would go to them with all his problems and them for support instead of me. And he kept pushing and pushing, and next thing I know, I have text messages while I'm at work, working, you know, full day, 8-hour shift. Get on my lunch, I look at my phone, and I have text messages saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And then I found out he actually did have sex with another woman while I was at work, in our bed. And even then, for a day or two, I was still trying to stay with him because I was so manipulated into, I couldn't survive without him, I needed him, he was the one for me. I eventually did realize, you know, a day or two later, no, everything he has done is completely unacceptable and not okay. He cheated on me multiple times, and I was supposed to just be okay with it. He was trying to push me into all these things I was extremely uncomfortable doing, which there's nothing wrong with asking someone if they would be into it, but if they are not comfortable, you don't push someone into trying to do something that they are not comfortable with doing. That doesn't build trust at all. And so, you know, oh my god, there's so many flies in here. We ended up getting divorced, and I'm not even sure if I'm explaining this all in the best way or anything, or even making much sense, but it ended up to, while we were in the process of getting divorced and we were separated, because we separated in May, actually not long before my birthday. That was a great birthday. I had to close at TJ Maxx and my marriage had fallen apart. Great, great birthday that year. Ooh, 2018 was a good one. No, it wasn't. But he had even admitted when we were in that stage that he had only asked me to marry him because I was the first girl who was talking to him, and he just wanted to get out of the barracks. Out of the army barracks. He didn't actually love me. He hadn't fallen in love with me or truly cared about me. I was just the dumb one who happened to be talking to him. And I was the one who let myself get manipulated like that. Well, I guess I can't say get manipulated. I didn't know better. And I feel like in that sense I should stop blaming myself, because it's not like I knew. I wasn't telling people, you know, with anger and him saying all, I wasn't telling people how bad stuff was getting. I just let it go on. And if I could go back in time, I definitely would not have married him. I would not have answered his message. And it's kind of dumb and cheesy, but I guess the only reason I would have wanted in some way for it to still happen is because it brought me to Kansas, you know, where I met some of the best friends I've ever had. I met my boyfriend, who we've been dating almost 10 months, and it's dumb and cheesy, but he is like one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, and he has honestly shown me what a real relationship is like, a real one built on love and trust and mutual respect, mutual all of it, mutual love, mutual trust, mutual respect, all of that. And so, I mean, I guess I would want it to happen, but I would still find a way to get to Kansas or something if I could have known. But, so, that's where that marriage all went. And yeah, any of the videos on my channel with him in it, yeah, don't let that deceive you how happy we looked. And sure, there were happy times, but now, because of how everything went down, all the stuff that happened, I honestly don't find happiness even in those memories. Like, those memories that were happy, I wish my current boyfriend had been in them so they could actually be happy memories. But they're not. It happened. Completely over it. It still affects me because, like I said, I still have really bad self-esteem issues. It's something that hurt me, obviously, a lot, but it happened, and hopefully maybe posting this video that might not make much sense, it's kind of all over the place, will help someone else either get out of the situation quicker than I did or stop the situation from ever happening in the first place. Can only hope for either or maybe even someone who just went through it to know, you know, maybe you don't feel alone and feel like you're dumb because you're not dumb. Sorry, my camera cut off. I guess I was rambling for too long. My camera said shut up. But for people who will manipulate and gaslight you, they are perfect at it. Because they come in, everything seems perfect. They do treat you, you know, they show you love. They do all this stuff to take care of you and prove they love you. And then it starts subtly until it gets to the point. It took 4 years almost for my marriage to end. It took like 3.5 years for me to finally realize what was happening. And even then, when we were first getting divorced, we just agreed, yeah, it was an amicable thing. And he was telling me, you know, when we were telling people why we were getting a divorce, well, you know, you could tell the truth that I cheated, but you don't want your family and all of our mutual friends to hate me, do you? So we should just tell them we had different opinions. And there was the thing too, more manipulation of, well, you don't want everyone to hate me, do you? So even to the end, and it even took after that for me to slowly start realizing what it all happened, what a shitty person he really was. But I learned, I've moved on, I have learned from my mistakes, you know. I'm in a lot better place, like I said. I've actually, you know, bought this stuff in here. I pay my phone bill, I pay rent, I pay all of it. The car I have is literally in my name. It is actually my car, even though I kind of always feel like it's going to be taken away from me somehow. It's not, because it's really my car. So, anyway, that is it for this video. That's all I'm going to talk about it anymore. The next video will be, I don't know, something happy, something spooky. It's October. I gotta start doing spooky stuff. I gotta figure that out. So I'll figure that out. But anyway, that is it for this video, and I will see you all next time. Bye!